We often hear rumors, and we often think they're unsubstantiated and they don't mean anything, but we often hear these rumors that the homeless people are disappearing. And I dismissed that. I said, first of all, homeless people can go here, there, and everywhere, and they're not working, they don't have a permanent residence, they'd be hard to track, and so I dismissed the stories until now. We may know, or at least have an idea, where some of them, not necessarily most or all, but where some of them are going, courtesy of the state of Utah and legislation that they have passed, and they have acted upon it. And if you haven't heard this, I think you're going to be as surprised and as shocked as I was. Yet, this is real. My name is Dave Hodges. I am the host of the Common Sense Show, the show that is freeing America one enslaved mind at a time. We are brought to you by, well, something that's exploding. Can you guess what that is? Crypto. And we're brought to you by My Digital Money, the most reputable organization out there. Crypto is going to continue to explode as long as the Trump administration is in power, and I believe whoever follows him, whether it's Marco Rubio or J.D. Vance, we're going to see the same strategy for quite some time. This is now the time to jump in and make money. Millionaires are being made right now because crypto has exploded over a year ago. It's volatile. It's up and down, but the trend curve is decidedly up tremendously. So how do you get involved? Well, find out more by going to mydigitalmoney.com, mydigitalmoney.com. Utah work camps for the homeless.
I got in! Oh my God.
Wow, this is actually happening. Tuition, housing.
For the homeless. This is Eric Tarz, and you can find him on X at Invisible People. And he represents the National Homelessness Law Center. And what he has discovered, shocking, but it's not hiding, it's in plain sight. Let's see what he has to say.
Undocumented, low-paid labor. Gotta make up for it somewhere. They want to put up more of these alligator Alcatraz style mega tent sprung structure type facilities. They've got the kind of pilot project for that in Utah, where the governor has said, we are going to completely support and implement Trump's executive order. And just last week, their homelessness board, which was created by some Cicero legislation, they passed a plan for a 1,300 person mega tent camp 7 miles outside of downtown in the middle of nowhere, no public transportation. 300 beds are going to be involuntarily committed, locked facilities.
Locked facilities? Locked facilities?
Their set of beds are going to be no voluntary entry or exit. It's going to be where you get sent.
No voluntary entrance or exit. These people are in custody and they can't leave and they're locked in. And it's where you get sent to do what?
For jail diversion. And then the rest of the beds, even though theoretically you could come and go, they're going to be actively enforcing anti-camping, anti-loitering, all these other laws. The thing that scares me the most is that they say some of these units are going to be work-conditioned housing.
Let's take a look at that term for a second. Work-conditioned housing. Let me say that again. Work-conditioned housing. What does that mean? Does it mean what we think it means? Let's see.
Which to me means forced labor. And
let me stop this right here, and I'm going to digress for a minute. It was, 12, 13 years ago. I had a real problem when I discovered privatized prisons. Prisons for profit, and the Bushes were making huge money off this. And basically, it was the privatization of state-run prisons. And they ran them for profits. And what we found in there was you would have companies like Target and other major industries basically paying near slave wage labor, and inmates were forced to work producing products. And if they didn't cooperate, they'd be punished. Their sentences could even be lengthened. And I questioned, how do you do that without judicial involvement? But they claimed that they could do that. And this was really common. It was called privatized prisons. And it really kind of became a rage. There were even a couple of documentaries about this in mainstream media. And I thought, okay, well, it's going to end. Well, not only has it not ended, the concept is something I'm seeing here. If you're doing forced labor and you're locked in, who are you doing the labor for? You see, they're leaving that out of the legislation. Campaign donators that want free labor or near free labor? I mean, I'm speculating, but in the absence of information in a vaguely written bill, this is how I see it. I see it a return in a different form. These people aren't necessarily convicted criminals. Well, they've been criminalized because they're caught up in a system that's corrupt, it's oligarchical. We're seeing huge wealth transfers, people are losing their homes, and they're adapting as best they know how, and it's been declared to be a crime. And not only are they declared to be a crime, these are gulags.
We've seen some of these other bills introduced at the state level that also have this forced labor element to them in Louisiana and West Virginia. To my eyes, I see them kicking out all the undocumented low-paid labor from the country.
See, I think undocumented is part of it, but it's not the entire part, because this is also expanding into what? Homelessness, which has basically been criminalized. One of the things that I raised my eyebrows to when Trump sent the National Guard into DC, and Mayor Bowser, to her credit, said, this is good, we lowered crime. And they did lower crime. I don't want to take away from the accomplishment. But one thing that I said, what? You're going to be kidding me. That they cleaned out the homeless people. Well, unless you're creating housing for these people, cleaned out means what? Is this what we're looking at for a future solution to an increasingly shitty economy that is producing record numbers of homeless people? I hope not. But that appears exactly to where this is going. I really want to hear your reactions to this. You want to know more, you can follow Eric Tarr, spelled T-A-R-S, at Invisible People. By the way, if he's out there perpetrating false information, this guy's a lawyer. He can be disbarred. So I'm sure he's on firm ground here. And the legislation supports what he's claiming. Do you have a problem with this? I have a problem with this. Under the law, Article 4, Section 4, you can deport people who are undocumented. A lot of people don't like it, protesting ICE. I think there's a right way to go about it and a wrong way to go about it, but that argument aside, it's legal. But do we really want to put them in camps? And the fundamental issue that should concern every American, do we really want to criminalize homelessness to the point where they become virtual slave labor? Now, I don't have information like the prisoners I remember back in the day, 12, 13 years ago, were paid anywhere between 8 cents and 45 cents an hour. That was the going rates as I found. Are these people gonna be compensated? Or is this pro bono labor because there's your bed, here are your 3 crappy meals, and you're gonna have to work for it? And who's benefiting? Are these campaign donators that are getting stuff made? You see, I believe the law is purposely vague because when the mainstream media attacked private prisons, it got real quiet. We'll see if the mainstream media picks this up. Eric Tars is doing great work. He truly is. But I want to leave you with one other thought. He also said jail diversion. So this is a third category of what I would call prisoners. You've got undocumented, you've got homeless, and now you've got jail diversion. So rather than maybe do your 30 days for failure to appear, are you going to a camp where you're locked in and forced to work? Listen, state of Utah and Trump administration and other states are going to try this as a pilot program before implementing it. You need to answer that question. This is a huge civil liberties issue.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rechakadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity, and unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning, and unto the Bayath, the Dabadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. All right, so as you can see, the title of this video here on the Common Sense Show with Dave Hodges is, what if this homeless detention facility is meant for us? And like he mentioned earlier, the guy that he said is on, that he showed, that he said, what if, they're trying to build more of these Alcatraz style prisons, and forced labor, shitty ass meals. There's no leaving the facility at all. That right there should tell you what the times that we're coming into, man. And the scriptures say in the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11, it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Right? We are not ignorant of Satan's devices. We know what he plans to do. Okay? We got the game plan. We know that ultimately he's going to that he's going to persecute the prophets and those that resist his coming new world order. Okay? In fact, let's get the book of Revelation, chapter 2. I'm going to start at verse 9. Revelation chapter 2, verse 9. It says, I know thy works and tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews, and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Okay, that's talking about the small hats that are in our home right now, in the land over there, in the so-called Middle East. Okay, those are not the true Israelites. Those are they are the synagogue of Satan, man. They don't follow the Bible; they follow the Talmud. Okay, and they're the ones that orchestrate. They've been orchestrating everything from behind the scenes, the wars, child sacrifices, and a bunch of other things. All right. Verse 10, it says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil, Esau, Edom, shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. And 10 days, the number 10 is just a number of completion, like the number 7 is. And it says, so you may be in there for 10 days, you may be in there for a shorter amount of time, or maybe even longer. And it says, be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee eternal life. So no matter how long you may, if it's your lot to be thrown into one of those camps, whether it be your lot or not, but if it's the Most High's will, just have faith that Yahweh Shem Yahushai is going to make a way for you out of there. Okay? But, be thou faithful unto death, man. So, don't be not ignorant of Satan's devices. Whatever he gives you in there, don't take it. Whatever he tries to come at you with, don't fall for it. Don't fall for his tricks. Don't fall for his tactics, man. No matter what he does to you in there, don't give in. All right. So as far as casting into prison, verse 10. This is Matthew chapter Salakia. This is going to be the book of let's see. This is going to be the book of Matthew, chapter 10. Let's see. Yeah, this is the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 16, and it says, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents, yet and harmless as doves. Okay? So to be wise as a serpent, you're harmless as a dove. So all we're doing is just teaching the truth of the Bible. We're not being harmless as doves. We're not we're not stirring up any violence. It's all these other bugged up jakes that are part of the 2/3 that are stirring up all this shit. But those that are, the hopeful elect, we're just telling the truth as it is, exposing places through the scriptures and through secular history. But we're not going out there starting any militias or vigilante groups or uprisings and all that. We're not doing any of that. In verse 17 it says, but beware of men, for they will deliver you up to the councils, and they will scourge you in their synagogues. So, that time is coming. Persecution is coming. It's only a matter of time now. And ye shall, in verse 18, and ye shall be brought before governors and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them and the Gentiles. So, you're going to be standing before judges, governors, kings. Okay, you're going to be standing before these people that are in high places in this world, man. And it's going to turn to a testimony. Verse 19. But when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. Verse 20. For it is not ye that speak, but the Spirit of your Father which speaketh in you. So it's the Spirit of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, that's gonna speak to these devils through you. So don't even worry about what to say. Don't even think about it. Just have faith and let Yahweh Shem Yahushai take care of the rest. Verse 21. And the brother shall deliver up to the brother, and the brother shall deliver up the brother to death. So basically, this is let me continue reading. And the father, the child, and the children shall rise up against their parents and cause them to be put to death. I'm gonna read this in the NLT. Matthew 10:21 in the NLT. A brother will betray his brother to death. A father will betray his own child, and children will rebel against their parents and cause them to be killed. Do not the scriptures say that A man's enemies shall be they of his own house. So, you know, your family members, they're going to turn on you. Now, verse 22, and it says, and he shall be hated for all men for my name's sake, but he that endureth to the end shall be saved. So, you know, when that time comes, man, I mean, they already hate us, but in that day, you know, they're going to be shouting and cussing and saying all sorts of horrible things at us, man. But at the end of the day, and you know, they're all going to point the finger at the prophet saying that this is all our fault, why America's in the shithole that it's in, or, you know, this and that. You know, that's okay. Let them say what they gotta say. Because it doesn't matter. Verse 23. But when they persecute you in this city, flee ye into another. For verily I say unto you, ye shall not have gone over the cities of Israel to the Son of Man be come. Okay? Okay? Excuse me, verse 24. The disciple is not above his master, nor the servant above his Lord. Okay? So, just as a disciple is not greater than his man, not above his master, nor the servant above his Lord. So, you know, what Yahweh Shai went through 2,000 years ago, we're going to go through it this very day. Okay? So, there's really nothing, you know, they're going to come after us. They're coming. They are coming. Like I said, it's just a matter of time now. We're just sitting and waiting. Whether we be martyrs or whether we be in the midst of the shit. Okay? We're going to go to let's see. This is Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12. It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So principalities, powers against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, man. So those that are in high places, that have control over everything. Okay? They are there's really nothing. I mean, like I said, we have Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. That is our Savior right there. Okay, we have none else. And this is Mark 8:35. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, the same shall save it. So, you know, those who fold to this system and fall in line with it, man, just to try to save your own life, you're going to lose it in the end via the ICBMs, the AKA those missiles, or however the Most High plans to take you out. But those who are willing to lose their life for the sake of Yahweh Shai and the gospel, the same shall save it. Okay? So you know, at the end of the day, man, it's coming down to the wire. Just a few more prophecies to go, and we're just waiting for, you know, the persecution and ultimately the RFIDC hit. So, let's see here. So while we have all this going on, this is going to be Acts chapter 20, verse 24, and it says, but none of these things move me, neither count I my life dear unto myself. Okay? So we don't really care about persecution. We don't care about if they're gonna put us to death, none of those things, they don't scare us. They don't make our faith waver. Neither do we count our life dear unto us. We hate our lives, so that we, continue on. So I'm gonna start over Acts 20 and 24. But none of these things move me. Neither count I my life dear unto myself, so that I might finish my course and with joy in the ministry which I have received of the Lord Yahushua, to testify the gospel of the grace of the power. So we don't hold our lives dear to us. We do this for the fact that we finish our course wholeheartedly with joy in the ministry that which we have received from Yahushua. When he, broke loose the 7 seals and gave us this knowledge, wisdom, understanding, started with our elders, the apostles, the men under them, all the way down to the newest brother, teaching them 100% truth. Okay? This is our, this is what we, this is something that we are willing to give our lives for. Okay? Let's see. Bear with me one moment here. Yep, this is Revelation, Revelation chapter 12, verse 10. It says, "And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our power and the power of his Hamashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. And they overcame," in verse 11, "and they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death." So there you go. We do not give a fuck about our lives here. Okay? I'm going to finish off with this. This is Revelation 3 and 11. It says, "Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast what thou hast, that no man take thy crown." Okay? So lock and hold tight onto this. Do not let anyone take this from you. Do not let anyone deter you from this. This truth, this ministry, do not let anyone take this away from you. Don't let anyone take away your crown. And now finally, James 1 and 12. "Blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord hath promised to them that love him." Okay? So, in 1 Peter 5 and 4, "And when the chief shepherd shall appear," the chief shepherd talking about Yahushua, "he shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away." So we have to endure these last few prophecies, and it's only, the Lord's only going to turn up the heat. He's only going to turn up the heat, and things are going to get harder, things are going to get scarier, things are going to get, you got to really be on your P's and Q's and keep your head on a swivel. And it's not going to, you're not going to have no ease of mind in these latter times. Okay, we're at the end of this thing, so first and foremost, keep the faith. Remember why Yahweh Bashim Shai woke you up and called you into this for. First and foremost, remember why. He's given you a chance to prove yourself. So show him that waking you up wasn't a waste of his time. Okay? And as far as these internment camps go, prepare your mind for that. Be prepared that one day, this devil might send his troops at your front door with, the barrels of their weapon just pointing at your face. They manhandle you, put you in handcuffs, and off you go. So be ready for that, man, because that's what it's going to come to. Lord willing that, that you're of the elect and that, you make it through it. So, with that being said, Lord willing, that this was edifying to the body and to the few sincere believers and listeners. And with closing, I'd like to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching His word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayath of the Wadah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharallah, Wa Abad Babal, Shalom, Barakatam.